Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend, Carol. How are you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is June 28th, 1996. It's a high energy day.
It's only a high energy day because you're an asshole. I'm really tired, and he's trying to be annoying. That's what's happening.
I don't have to try, Carol. Hi, I'm Johnny Fuckface for 104.3. Right?
Right.
That's what it's like. Tonight, Carol, we're going to take back the night.
Oh, my.
That's the name of this episode. Take back.
This was
the
quite
night.
This was quite the episode.
Oh, it was something. It was something else.
So, Laura
Ingalls Wilder
is stalking Steve.
Yeah.
She's calling the keg house, leaving messages, talking to his friends.
Yeah. She's fucking John. Even John Sears is like, hey, you need to deal with this.
Right. So Steve gets her to meet him at the Peach Pit.
She wants to meet at the Peach Pit. He gets...
Oh, wait, no.
John's like, you need to, like, she calls again. And he's like, hey, you in? And Steve's shaking his head no. And John's like, no, take this fucking call. We are sick of her calling here.
Right. Okay, but they meet at the Peach Pit, whoever idea it is.
It's her idea.
Okay, I think it was his idea. Because he wanted to tell her
She wanted to meet.
stop.
She wanted to meet. Maybe he picked the Peach Pit.
We have no
Maybe
idea.
He picked a pit of
We
peach.
have no idea what happened on the phone. Mm-hmm. But they meet at the Peach Pit.
Yeah.
And he tells her he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, Celeste.
And her face.
She's all... Like, it's so funny. She's so naive and dumb. Because they're sitting there and he's like, yeah, we got to talk. And she's like, about something good, I hope. And it's like, did you see his face?
Right.
When has we've got to talk ever been followed by anything but devastating news?
Yeah, and she's like, I've been thinking about you. Haven't you been thinking about me even a little? Like, lady, if he wanted to talk to you or if he wanted to fuck you again, then that would be happening.
He's not into you.
Obviously. But she looks crestfallen, and, you know, you feel a little sorry for the psycho.
She's like, you're a jerk. And leaves.
And, no, she yelled at him out loud in the Peach Pit, you manipulated me into sleeping with you.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, we find out they did have sex.
They did. And she, apparently, at least thinks that, you know, he manipulated her.
Right.
Which, you know...
coincides beautifully with what's going on in the rest of the episode.
Yeah, because they're having a Take Back the Night rally where they're talking about a date rape seminar that week, and then they're doing this Take Back the Night rally. So there's a lot of, you know, anti-rape going on, which is good, you know. Yay,
It's like,
anti-rape.
It's like matter and antimatter. When they collide, they annihilate each other.
But
if we generate enough anti-rape, we'll stop all the rape.
wow. And Lucinda is the one who's doing the date rape class.
Talk about rapist.
Right?
She's trying to rape Brandon.
And
Every interaction she has with him is her trying to get into... It's like some innuendo. It's like she's on a 70s dating show or something.
she's very predatory.
Yeah.
It is kind of creepy.
She's like, Brandon, if I was a popsicle, how would you eat me?
Wow. But okay, so he's in her date rape seminar with his professor, her husband.
Yeah.
And is again invited to dinner that night.
He's like, oh, that's tonight? I love Brandon's casual, like, oh, this isn't happening.
Right. But yeah, so the professor's like, oh, the guy you're tutoring, whatever his name is going to be there.
Deshaun.
Yeah.
His name is Deshaun.
So he goes to dinner, and Lucinda, what the fuck did she say? It was like terrible. Like she's coming on to him hardcore at the dinner table.
They're talking to Deshaun, and he's like, yeah, like, how is Brandon as a tutor? Oh, he's real hard. And she goes, yeah, I found that, or something like that. And she's like, I see that.
Yeah.
I think she says, and even Deshaun looks like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because of the way she says it and like looks at him and stuff, it was like it wasn't even thinly veiled.
No. And it's right in front of her husband.
And he doesn't bat an eye. Do you think he's oblivious, or do you think he doesn't care?
I think she makes tapes and he watches them. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think there's some kind of... I think the whole kink is that she can't tell Brandon that he's into it.
Right.
She's got to win him over. And it's only students that he takes a particular liking to. Like, he's her... What do they call them? Like, procurer or whatever, right? Like, he picks a student at the beginning of the year and befriends him. I think that's a whole conspiracy going on here.
That's some crazy shit right there.
Yeah, it is. But that's 90210 for you.
And then in the kitchen, like, he's asked if there's anything he can do to help her or something. And she's like, ever done it on a table?
Oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah, he says something like, you're flirting with me right in front of your husband. It's not cool. She's like, oh, it was just flirting. We haven't even done anything. And he says, am I being a hayseed? She's like, yes, Brandon.
A hayseed?
That's what he said, yeah.
What the fuck?
You never heard that term before?
No.
It means like a hick from the country, a hayseed.
Okay. So she's acting like he's overreacting, and then she hops on the table and asks him to fuck her.
Yeah, right there in the kitchen when her husband's in the other room. Makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I think she's been watching too many movies from the mature section in the video store.
Right? Something is not right here.
That's the kind of shit that would only happen in a pornographic film.
For sure. So that's what's going on with Brandon for now.
Yeah. There's other stuff that happens.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Or do we want to follow it all the way through?
I don't know. You're steering the ship. You tell me.
Well, okay. So he goes to tutor Deshaun at his room for some reason instead of where they usually meet.
Where do they usually meet? The basketball court?
Yeah, which is weird.
We haven't seen them actually tutoring him very much.
No.
So.
And Deshaun's just like, well, I can see something's going on with you and the professor's wife.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Annie and the professor's wife.
And he's like, I'm gonna tell him unless you take my test for me, and I want you to get me a B.
And Brandon seems to sort of agree. He doesn't, for some reason, he doesn't come out and say, we haven't done anything. She is coming on to me, but I have resisted because I, like the professor.
Well, I mean, even if he did say that, like, it doesn't change what the professor would think if Deshaun said something.
It wouldn't?
No.
He wouldn't be mad at Brandon. He'd be mad at his wife.
But I'm saying if Deshaun goes to the professor and says, hey, Brandon's sleeping with your wife, the truth doesn't factor in.
Okay, sure. But he could, yeah, I guess. All right.
I mean, it just seems like the threat is just that I'm going to tell him. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter.
All right.
So then he decides, though, that he's not going to go along with it.
Yeah, he comes back to his room, and it's weird the way that this is filmed because it's broken up by a lot of stuff. Like, I don't understand why he leaves, then comes back, but whatever.
He has a change of heart.
I guess. He comes back and he says to him, look, I'm not taking your fucking test for you. And he comes right out and says everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. Basically the stuff I just said. And he's like, I don't care. I'll tell anyway. And he's like, nah, go ahead. I don't give a shit. I'm not taking your test for you. And he's like, I'm not going to pass that test. I can't miss a couple games. I'm going to get kicked off the team. And it's like, well, then maybe you should have fucking tried, Deshaun. Did you ever think about that?
Right. So Brandon's just like, sorry, peace out, and walks out.
And he talks to Lucinda about it while he's bench pressing 120 pounds. So impressive, Brandon.
You know, it's not nice of you.
At least it's realistic, though.
Yeah.
You don't think it's nice of me? Why? Because Brandon's such a tiny guy?
I don't think it's nice of you to, act like other guys are being weaklings or something just because you're super strong and can bench press more than that. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, Brandon's bench pressing 120 like it's nothing. That's a lot.
It's not much.
It's to me, that's a lot. Couldn't do that.
How much can I bench press?
I don't know. How much can you bench press? I know you want to tell us.
No, I'm not going to say.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not. If you don't know.
200 pounds.
Yeah, there you go. That's correct. I want an independent verification because any asshole can be like, oh, I bench 200 pounds. And it's like, but you've seen me do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Independent verification. At least. I mean, that's for reps, people. That's not my 1 rep max. That's 200 pounds for reps. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just falling asleep over here.
Lucinda comes in and she's like, 120 pounds? That's more than me, Brandon. That means you could put your hand here and here and just press me and press me and press me. She goes to be fun or whatever. And he's like, okay, why don't you fucking tell Wink Martindale what the parting gift is?
Who the hell is Wink Martindale?
He's one of those 70s game show hosts that I was referencing earlier. In a hilarious joke.
Hilarious. Yeah. He tells Lucinda too about Deshaun. And she doesn't seem to care.
No, she's like, well, yeah, why don't fucking take the test for him?
Yeah.
That's probably what you're supposed to do, she says. Why do you think the test is take home? Which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
What are the questions going to be on the test? Who's the best coach in California college universities?
My question is, if it's a fucking take-home open book exam, why can't Deshaun pass it on his own?
Yeah.
Anyone who's willing to put the effort in can pass a open book take-home exam.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I mean, I guess unless it's math. What is it? What's the subject?
Sociology.
Yeah, no, fuck that. He could pass that. But I mean, like, certain things, like, with math, it's not like you can look it up and be like, oh, this is the answer. It's like you have to have the understanding to figure out the answer.
Yeah, I suppose. You could always cheat. Go to a library.
To figure out math?
Sure. You can look stuff up, can't you? I mean...
Multiplication.
Yeah. Who doesn't know how to multiply?
Well, okay, fine. Like, I don't know.
He could
fucking
use a calculator.
Quantum physics, okay? Like,
what? That's a little bit... That's a quantum leap, my friend. Going from math to quantum physics. Yeah, a quantum physics test would be harder than math.
Trigonometry.
Okay, but there are calculators. Now, I guess you do have to understand. Like, there's graphing calculators and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know.
Sean couldn't even figure out how to put boobs in a calculator.
Oh, my God.
You know how you do that?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Look at you. What the fuck? Is that a Darth Vader impersonation?
Yes.
Luke.
I'm just tired, people. It's been a long day.
No one cares about how tired you are.
Oh.
They don't tune in to listen to how you complain about how tired you are.
Sure they do. They care.
They listen in to listen about 90210.
You care, don't you, people?
They don't care.
Okay. So, after, what's-her-face, Laura, gets her heart broken.
Oh, holy shit, okay.
She goes to the seminar on date rape and is now wondering, was I date raped?
Oh, yeah. You can see You can see her slowly be brainwashed into believing that what happened was rape.
The wheels are spinning. Well, and like, what bothers me, this episode bothers me a little bit because like, it is hard to know if you've been raped when you're date raped. I mean, like, there's a difficult line there to figure out.
That's true.
So, I mean,
the difference is charm. Like a regular rapist needs no charm. A date rapist is you gotta be charming.
You're such an asshole.
Well, I'm just saying that the line of walking down a street and then being grabbed and raped, that's easy. You know?
Yeah.
In one way, you're not, like just walking down the street, nothing happens to you, you're cool. Grabbed and raped, you know that. But, as you said, in a situation where you're on a date and, the end of the night happens and stuff, and like they said in the episode, they're like, you could start making out and stuff like that and everything. It is tough to know when it's rape and when it's not.
But, I mean, like they said, the main, like Kelly says at a point later, the difference is whether or not you say no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So, and she is like talking about trying to figure out whether or not she was raped, and she makes it sound like she was. Like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it was rape for sure."
Well, the way she describes it really sounds like rape because she says what she says, and what she says is a lie.
Lies.
She says that he, grabbed her, pushed her down on the bed. He was on top of her. She said no. She says she said no.
Oh, yeah.
And tried to push him, but he was too heavy. She says that eventually she goes, if you're going to do it, at least wear a condom. And he did, and then it was over. And everyone's like, yeah, of course that's fucking rape.
Yeah.
Which, like, I was like, yeah, of course that's rape.
If that's what happened, yeah.
But I'm like, the writers of this show are not going to turn Steve Sanders into a rapist. So that's obviously a lie.
Right.
I would say most women don't lie about being raped.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bad message.
Yeah.
To give to kids, like, oh yeah, women can just make it up. It's like most of the time, no, they don't. Like she's clearly exaggerating what happened because she's upset that he's rejecting her. Because if she really thought that she was raped, or if there was any chance that she didn't want what happened, then why was she calling him endlessly? Why was she obsessed with him, trying to get a hold of him?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But because everybody is on her side and thinks that she was raped, they're telling her she needs to come forward with who the person is.
Name him.
So that
take back the night.
Yeah, so that all the women know to avoid him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. They're like, "Do it at the rally." So like,
just slander a man.
Like what?
End
the
a
fuck?
man's life.
Right. So then she's talking.
No evidence needed.
So then she's talking to Kelly, and she finally says who it was.
Kelly's all like, "It's John Sears."
Yeah. Because
of stuff we'll get to later.
And when she finds out that it's Steve, she's like, Steve did not rape you.
It's such a funny turnabout because the whole time Kelly's like, I'm on your side, I'm here for you.
Right.
Thick and thin, it doesn't matter. And she's like, it was Steve Sanders. She goes, oh, you can't say it was Steve at the thing. Steve didn't rape you, you liar.
You're going to ruin his life. You can't do this. Which, I mean, I don't like that either, though, because it's not like every guy who has raped a woman is like an obviously terrible person that you just know.
No, I mean, you can accidentally rape somebody.
I'm saying it's not always obvious to people that somebody would do that. So
yeah, but
to act like, oh, for sure, he wouldn't do it.
But she's known Steve since kindergarten. I mean, don't you think that she, like... I'm not saying... And she dated him.
Yeah.
So she knows him pretty well.
Yeah.
Like about as well as you could know somebody. And I'm not saying that you could ever be like, oh, that person could never rape somebody. Like, I understand what you're saying. That's like, maybe he could have, date raped this girl, but in real life. But I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. I can see why she really thinks it's not him because of how well she knows him.
Yeah. But she goes and warns Steve that she's about to do this to him.
And then we get Steve's side of the story.
Yeah. Which is that she was totally into it. And she took off her shirt and like all this stuff.
She pulled a condom out of her own purse.
Yeah.
And gave it to him.
She's the one who brought condoms.
And she said, the one thing that we did see in the episode that this happened in is, like I think I mentioned this before, him saying, "Oh, I'll give you a ride home," and her saying, "Why? Do you have an early class?" And give him that look like, "I don't want to go home,"
right?
Kind of thing. So, I think I mean, I know this is a fictional thing, but I even hate saying I think she wanted it, but it seems like she wanted to have sex. I think what Steve says later is wholly accurate.
Yeah. So, okay, now we're at the Take Back the Night rally.
Take it back!
And
Kelly takes back the microphone.
Yeah. And before she can grab the microphone, Kelly grabs it and talks about when she was almost raped.
Yeah, by that fucking douchebag at the Halloween party.
And then she says, and the man who saved me, Steve Sanders, and everybody's like applauding for him.
If there's more guys like Steve out there.
So Laura just takes off.
Yeah, because Laura's like, well, okay, and I can't slander his name now.
Right. And Steve goes after her, and she admits what she did, and she says she thought that it would make her life easier to have a boyfriend in the keg house.
Right.
Like, what's going on in her life, and why would having a boyfriend in the keg house specifically make her life better? I
don't know.
It's very weird.
That whole thing was weird. But he says he says to her, and I think this is accurate. He says, "Look, I think it was mutual, and obviously she kind of seems to indicate that it was mutual. Them wanting to have sex, that was consensual or whatever." He's like, "I know you wanted more, and I know you wanted more than a one night stand, but I did it anyway, and it was sleazy and not a good thing to do."
Right, which is true.
Yeah, and she says, "I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either, so that it wasn't her fault." And it's like, it's weird. Like, I guess that does make it sort of ambiguous. Because, like, if she didn't say yes, I mean, do you need to get a yes every time? Like, if you're dating, if you're on a date and you start making out and things start going farther, are you supposed to say, "Hey, is this okay? Hey, is this okay?"
I mean,
or it like, do you wait for the? Is it like you're just pushing things, waiting for that no?
I've heard people say before that you need to get consent for everything, and I think that's kind of dumb, and that would take a lot of the romance out of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people do think that. But I mean, to me, her taking off her own shirt, reaching in her purse, pulling out a condom and giving it to him, those are things that are indicating consent without having to say it.
I liked Andrea's point at the whole Take Back the Night thing, and actually the pre-party of Take Back the Night,
the seminar thing.
But I liked her point, and I think I think I understand the argument of like, oh, it shouldn't be all on the woman or whatever, but I also like the argument of women have their own power and their own voice, and instead of being like it's got to be this like two-party consent thing where like let's sign contracts and everything, women can just take the initiative and say no. Just like guys are gonna want to probably push things, and whenever you're uncomfortable, say no, and then it's on the guy to stop.
Right.
If a woman says no, you have to stop. That's what it is, and I think that's fine. And Andrea didn't say exactly that, but Andrea was like, "There's a difference between." She basically describes fucking Leslie, or what's her name?
Laura's
situation. She's like, yeah, if you're saying no and a guy does it anyway, I mean, obviously that's rape, but if you have sex with somebody and then you regret it the next day, that's not rape.
Right.
Like the guy's not responsible for that if you didn't say anything.
For sure.
Basically, and that's what she said. And like her boyfriend's all like, oh, that's whatever, and like he starts arguing against her and like really shutting her down, and she gets pissed.
Well, that was about alcohol.
Well, but the whole thing, that was one conversation.
Okay.
Because she starts to go, because he says, what about, there's so many guys that'll ply women with drinks. And she goes, women can decide what they put in their bodies and what they don't, what they drink and what they don't. And he's like arguing against that and everything, and she like storms off, and then they have an argument, and she's like, I was arguing the feminist point.
Yeah.
You sure put me in my place, shut me down. That's not very feminist or whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely on their way out.
Oh yeah,
they're having quite a lot of arguments.
I was figuring they'd be broken up this episode.
Yeah, but he apologized at the end, and she forgave him.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I mean, like, if a girl is, like, completely drunk, then a guy shouldn't have sex with her.
I agree.
But that's kind of a,
I know, that takes away a lot of the births.
That's kind of a difficult one. I mean, I agree with Andrea that, women can decide what they're drinking, but, like, if a woman decides to drink, does that mean she can't have sex? I mean...
It depends. So, okay, this is what I would say. I would say if... It's hard because I'm not single. We're dating. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to think in this way. But let's say you're dating prior, right? If you have, an understanding beforehand. Like, if you and I were going to go out and you're like, hey, I'm going to get drunk tonight, but I want to have sex. And, like, you kind of give me consent previously. Mm-hmm. Be like, I'm going to get, pretty drunk tonight and, we'll go home and have sex. Then I think it's fine.
Right.
But if you just meet somebody at a bar, that's a difficult one because it's like sometimes it can be difficult to tell how drunk someone is.
That's true.
But I guess just use your best judgment. I mean, if a woman's really obviously drunk, I would never be like, okay, I'm going to pick this woman up and have sex with her. I mean, that seems like taking advantage to me.
But I mean, to me, it's like, I always thought it was like if somebody is like passed out or something, like that's,
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure, no.
But I mean, just being drunk, I don't know.
It depends. There's a point in being drunk where your inhibitions are down, but you still know what you're doing. And then there's a point where it's like, your judgment's way compromised.
Yeah.
And it's usually fairly easy to tell in most people when they get to that point, like if they're sloppy drunk, And I think that's wrong too. I don't know if I'd necessarily consider that rape if they say yes, but it's wrong. I mean, like, whether it's illegal or not, it's not something I think you should do.
Yeah. So those were the kinds of discussions going on in this episode.
It was kind of heavy.
It was. But, thankfully Kelly saved Steve because he was like thinking he's going to have to go to another university.
Oh, he was going to get expelled.
Yeah.
He was going to be the social pariah he always should be. And then afterwards, Andrea said, did she really say there should be more people like Steve? Which I thought was so funny. Like, everyone knows what a piece of shit Steve is. It's so funny.
He's not a piece of shit, though.
I mean, no, they've done a lot to rehabilitate his character.
But he did break Celeste's heart. He broke 2 women's hearts this episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he was dating. So 2 of the most gorgeous people to ever live, fucking Cary Grant and Diane Cannon, made a human being. And Steve had the good luck to date her and cheat on her.
So he told her the truth because he wanted her to hear it from him and not somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And they broke up.
Yeah, it was sad. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, no more Jennifer Grant.
But he was trying to say that he loved her. And
bullshit.
Yeah, she's like, no.
He said he's like it didn't mean anything. And I always think that's the most bullshit excuse. If it did, like, if your relationship with Celeste meant something and sleeping with this chick didn't mean anything, then why did you do it?
Right.
It obviously meant something.
What though? Because he certainly didn't want to date her.
No.
What did it mean? Was it just to get in the good graces of the guys at the keg house because they wanted him to sleep with her for some reason? I think just to have something to hold over his head.
Maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was just fucking lust. But it's like, if you have a girlfriend, you need to keep it in your pants, dick.
So, I mean, yeah, I just finished saying he's not a bad guy, but, you know, he has his moments.
He's clearly the worst guy on the show, at least for now. Till David
Right.
does some of the stuff he does.
Till the end of the season.
Right.
I feel like we're missing something.
Oh, there's lots of stuff we haven't talked about.
There's more? I can't think of it. Brenda.
Stuff
with Brenda.
Brenda's struggling with romantic poetry.
Oh, yeah.
Her and Dylan have a whole subplot where it's like they're kind of flirting with each other, but because of all the stuff that happens with Kelly and John Sears, which we should talk about.
Yes.
Dylan wants to get back together with her.
You think he wants to get back together with Kelly or Brenda?
Kelly.
I mean,
he's certainly acting like it.
I don't know. He doesn't commit easily, I think, is the problem. Like,
for sure.
He's really like into both these women still. Mm-hmm. But yeah, throughout the poetry class, there's also rape talk going on because Brenda's comparing what were they reading? Do you remember?
No,
but some classic poem she's saying is like about rape, and they're like, no. But it's like that's what everybody's got on their minds right now.
Yeah, so it's rape. It's Rapeville.
And then, yeah, like you were saying, there's Kelly and John Sears. They go out, and
John Sears is talking to like Steve and the rest of the guys. Is like, yeah, she's definitely gonna give it to me tonight.
Yeah, this is the night.
And so they start making out. They're in the bedroom, and she's like, no, I don't want. Like, I don't feel right doing it like this or whatever.
Yeah, which, you know, who knows what was going on at that time in her mind or body or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he got really angry.
Oh, yeah. Very entitled.
And, God, I'm trying to remember everything. Like, he said, like,
he's like,
what do you think?
I knew you in high school. I know what you're like.
Do you think that I really wanted to, you know, be with you for, you know, your freshman...
intellect.
Right.
Good sparkling conversation.
Oh.
Wit.
He's such an ass.
Yeah, he's basically like, I wanted you because you're a piece of ass.
Yeah. Like, I just wanted to fuck you, and you're not doing it, so.
He's like, I got women lined up around the block, you know, and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, what is going on?
I'm a senior. I'm the president of the keg house.
Like, you should be dropping your drawers.
I'm the most important man in the world.
So she tells him where to shove it.
Yeah.
Yay, Kelly. And then she immediately goes to Dylan and tells him about it.
And Dylan is talking to Brenda about it, and he's like, yeah, I kind of want to get back together with her, but, you know, I think, like, John Sears comes around and apologizes, then she's going to, like, give him another chance or whatever. And, you know, I think that's dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb.
And he tries to.
Yeah.
And she doesn't give him another chance.
Who would? A guy who was just kissing on you, then just tears you apart emotionally? No, forget that.
Well, Kelly says, you know, if it was 3 years ago or whatever, she probably still would be with him.
Yeah. Well, her self-esteem, I guess, was a lot worse before.
Yeah, before Dylan. Dylan was the first person that took her seriously, she says.
Oh, yeah. See, so she wants to get back together with him, too.
Yeah. She says at one point, she's like, what happened with us? You didn't want to do anything. You didn't have the same fucking interests. you want to go to all the football games and do all the college stuff, and Dylan does not care about any of that.
No. That's why he'll be better with Brenda. They have a lot more in common.
Oh, for sure. They're both in the same poetry class.
Yeah.
Talking about fucking Lord Byron or whatever.
Which, that's like an elective. I mean, that's something they chose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever. I still don't see Kelly and Brandon having anything going on. I still don't understand where that's coming from.
Not yet. We'll see. Maybe it comes out of the blue. I don't know, but maybe my guess is like the last 5 episodes or something like that. There's going to be there'll be an arc.
There has to be.
So that's what's going on with her. Basically, with David, it's just like David's like, "Oh, I got really bad news. My girlfriend doesn't want to have sex with me." That's pretty much David's contribution to the episode.
Yeah.
He's like, "I want to have sex with you," and she's like, "No, my dad's a producer, and I can't have sex scenes."
Right.
Because he refuses.
So I think that's it.
Well, there's one other thing that happens.
What?
After Brandon, he sounded so excited to know this thing that you watched.
Tell me.
After Brandon has that conversation with Lucinda about just fucking cheat for him, she says, he's like, "You know what, Brenda, I'm going to hit the road for a while. I got to get out.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here." And he picks up a picture of Emily Valentine.
Yeah, he does.
The punk rock girl.
He's going to go find her, you think?
Yeah, probably.
That's weird.
It is really weird, but that's what I think is going to happen.
I guess, we're supposed to believe that he cared more about her than the rest of the bodies in the desert.
Yeah, I guess. She's the one that got away.
Well, whatever.
So I think we're going to probably see Punk Rock Girl on the next episode of 90210.
Alrighty.
But that's it for this episode. Carol, you want to tell anything to anybody before you pass out over there?
Sure. Go ahead and say hi to us at latefee1994@AOL.com.
Drop us a line.
And check out our website, retrolatefee.com.
It's a good one.
And tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.